What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of FTB Inventions. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode, yeah, we used our resonant exchanger and we exchanged all the blocks and we made our workshop look a little bit better. I'm pretty happy with the way this thing turned out. Still got to figure out what we're going to do with the roof. Also, we were making a basement underneath here, right? Basement. Yeah, we needed a basement down here and I wasn't sure what we're going to do with this. And you know what? It was pointed out to me in the comments that it seems like whenever I set up my base, I'd make a basement and then I put my AE system in the basement. Let's do something different. All right, that sounds like a good plan. It just seems to me like it's a good idea. You know, you already got a building laid out. You have AE laid out. Where are we going to put all the stuff for AE? Just dig down, stick it underground. You know what? Let's not do that this time. Let's go ahead and build another building, or at least get an area set up for where we're going to put our applied energistic system. We have like a lot of space over here that is still yet to be used. And the original idea of this base, right, was that we're going to have a building with doors and would like lead out to other buildings or have walkways to other different buildings or whatever. I think that's what I still want to do. So let's do that. I'm thinking we're going to put our AE system over here somewhere. And what we want to do is make sure we have enough room for all of the auto crafting and the disk storage. The disk storage, really, we can stick in the walls or whatever. That's not a big deal. The auto crafting stuff does take up space, and we got to figure out like a good layout for that. So that is what we're going to be working on right now. I got to figure out like how far away this is going to be. I need to figure out how big this building is going to be and start laying down some blocks or whatever as placers, kind of like, you know, the crafting units we do are usually a 2x2 and they're like 4 tall or whatever. So yeah, we want to lay out a few of those and we're probably going to want room. Well, I don't even know, probably like 8, maybe up to 12 of those. I don't really know how much auto crafting we need to do in this mod pack, but I'd rather have too many than not enough and not be able to expand out properly. So what we're going to do, or at least what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a moment here. I'm going to try and find a decent distance away from this building. Maybe we could start like right here or something like that. Find a decent distance away from the building. So if we build another one, the roofs aren't going to be too close to each other. Yeah, try and figure out the dimensions of this thing. Yeah, let me get to that, guys, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. Well, I've done a little bit of terraforming over here. Got rid of some of the tall grass, kind of extended out the dirt a little bit. Yeah, just so we had more room. So I laid out this platform here, and there is very good reason to lay out the floor plan before you decide to build a building. I was going to go with this and start putting up the walls, and I was like, wait a second, we should probably take a look at where we want to place things before we start, you know, actually building the building. I'm using grass right now as kind of like my placers. So originally I was going to do, you know, like every other block or something like this. Actually, no, I think I changed it up. So I was going to do it every 2 blocks. So we were doing this and we could fit in 4 of these like this and be like, okay, yeah, we'll just extend this out 1 more block here. And I was like, you know, since we got 2 spaces between each one of these, this is where the auto crafters are going to be. We should probably have 2 spaces between the walkway and that, and 2 spaces between that and the wall. So yeah, it's like, okay, so let's move this back right here, and then we're gonna have to extend this out like 2 more blocks, and yeah, all sorts of finicky work with this to try and get this the way I want it to be. And also, we want probably 2 blocks away from the wall over here as well, so this needs to be moved over here even further. So yep, these are the kind of things that I think about when I'm building. It's not just like, you know, make a building and then try and get things to fit in there. It's, you know, we want the building to contain things that are functional. So anyway, I got a little bit of finagling here to get everything to work correctly. Yeah, all right. So we got the 2 blocks of space from the walkway to the auto crafters. We got the 2 blocks of space from the wall to the auto crafters. This one needs to come out like 3 more blocks or something like that. About right there. So anyway, the building is changing shape as I'm kind of designing this and figuring out what we want to do. Also, these blocks right here, these are just temporary. These are just stone I quickly chiseled just so we had difference in texture, so I can quickly use the resonant exchanger out for different blocks. I'm still not sure what the actual floor design is going to be. So let's see. We had to come out 2 more blocks on this side, right? Yeah, 2 more. Whoops. So we need to come out 2 more on this side. So the building's getting a little bit wider as we're going. And then another thing is, I'm not sure 100%. Well, we're probably going to want more than just auto crafting in this room. We're probably going to want a terminal. So maybe we'll have like these 4 and then like 2 more on this side. That might make sense. We'll put like you know, 2 more over here. Actually, I guess it'd be back here a little bit. And then in the center here, we might have our control panel where we have access to the AE system, you know, the interface terminal, the crafting pattern terminal, and all that stuff. So yeah, let me go ahead and get some more work done here, make a little bit more progress. Hopefully get this building laid out properly, and we'll be right back. All right, well, I kept playing with the design and kept expanding and making it bigger. And then, yeah, we finally came up with a design where we can have 2 of the auto crafters in each of the corners. Yeah, and then we have another door on this side facing towards the center of our area here. That way, I kind of feel like we'll be coming through this way a lot. Yeah, if we're over here getting experience or something, and then we want to go check something on our AE system, it'll be fast to come over here. I mean, eventually we will have, like, you know, the wireless terminal and all of this stuff. So actually getting to the terminal all the time won't be that big of a deal, but I think just for convenience, it makes sense. And then, yeah, we have this path over here where we can just kind of walk over into our workshop. We'll probably end up making some kind of path, you know, leading between the 2 buildings, like a worn path. So it looks like, you know, it's actually being traveled. And then this path over here will lead off somewhere else. I mean, we got plenty of room for other stuff over here besides the current mob grinder stuff that we have right there. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what I came up with. I wanted this path here, and then I'll kind of allow us to have like our terminals and stuff for the different applied energistics things. Down below, I just got a room. Yeah, we're going to need room for wiring. We're going to need room for like our AE controller, right? In this mod pack, we do not have P2P channels. I don't know why that was removed, but it's not in this pack. So we're probably going to need a lot of controllers so we can run the dense cables over to wherever they need to be. Yeah, we're going to have to run probably multiple over here if we want all of the machines doing auto crafting and stuff, which is kind of annoying, but I think we'll make it work regardless. But anyway, that's just why we have this down here. So we can run the wires between the different auto crafters. We can have our controller. We can run the main trunk cables over to where they need to be. Okay, so yeah, each one of these grass blocks represents where our auto crafters are going to be. Maybe we should start setting up and getting our applied energistics going. We have a basic applied energistics system right now. We're still running the 1K drives. We haven't really upgraded these. We have the 1ME controller, and then down below, yeah, I have this set up, the crystal growth accelerators. I did this off camera between last episode and now. I'm also taking some of these Certus quartz and I am turning them into the charged versions. Yeah, we're doing a lot of these right now just so I have them for later. But yeah, I did this because I was stockpiling up on some of the Fluix. I was stockpiling up on some of the pure Certus, pure nether. Let's just type pure. I did, I guess, 512 of the pure Certus, 512 of the pure nether, and then doubled out for the pure Fluix because, yeah, we made twice as many just the way that turned out. Anyway, so we got all that stuff in preparation for expanding out our applied energistics stuff. So the first thing we should probably look at expanding our disks, getting maybe a second ME drive. We're going to want fluid storage. We're going to want any other type of storage we can get. We're going to want probably another ME controller, maybe 2 more of those so we can do like 3. Yeah, I think that's probably the first thing we should do. So anyway, I'm going to get to some crafting here. Yeah, I'll make some more disks, try upgrading it. We'll probably need the MEIO port so we can transfer the stuff off these disks onto the new ones. Anyway, let me get some stuff done. We'll be back. Alright guys, well I started getting some of the crafting done. I made myself an MEIO port and I made myself a couple of ME drives, and then I was going to start working on the storage. So we needed to make storage components, right? Yeah, and each one of these, like the 1K ones, require a logic processor. That's a gold processor, right? So in order to do that, we have to put a gold ingot in an inscriber with the inscriber logic press, and we get this out. And then we have to do the same thing with silicon, and then we have to put the gold processor plus the silicon, plus redstone into the inscriber, and then we get the fully done processor. So I started working on this down here. Yeah, I set up myself an inscriber. I turned it on its side. I put a hopper on top so we could put some gold in here, and then we could put the logic press. Yeah, and as that thing processes it, the next one goes in, etc., and we get a few of these things out. So that's all well and good, and then I have to wait for that to finish up and then do the same thing with the silicon. Yeah, so while that's all well and good, there is no real good way to get all of these components together into the one single thing without using pipes or making this big, huge contraption. We really don't have a good place for that to be set up right now, and I made one of those before in FTB Infinity Evolved Expert mode, right? And it was kind of an ugly process. I think there's a cleaner way of doing it in this mod pack. There's an Enderman somewhere. Was he down there? Yeah, look at you. Look at you! Oop, he's gone. Where'd he go? He's mad somewhere. Is he on the outside of the building? There he is. Got him. Okay, so anyway, there is a better way to do that in this mod pack. Back in FTB Ultimate, we had a mod called Factorization, and in that it had routers. So there's a mod in this called Router Reborn, and this is kind of like a copy of that functionality from Factorization. I'm pretty sure it's Factorization that had this mod in it, or this item in it. Anyway, I want to start looking at these things. So we have the item router itself, which can detect machines. Then we can like have all these upgrades in there where we can, you know, put in stacks at a time, auto eject things. If there's multiple machines, I think one of these, I believe, maybe it's bandwidth or maybe it's thorough. We'll make sure each one of them gets filled in order. I don't know, like round robin style. I think that's the way that works. Anyway, I want to see if we can set up an inscriber to use the routers. I want to try and use the routers. I haven't done those in forever, and I remember them being kind of an interesting item. So let's start looking at making some of these together. Let's get rid of the Enderman remains. All right, so an item router. This does have exchange energy, by the way. So once we craft all of these things once, we can just learn them, and then we can make all of them later. So we need an Eye of Ender, a diamond, Ender Pearl, and then some iron. I guess we do have some Eyes of Ender in here. Okay, so there is a router. We're probably going to want multiple of those. We'll probably just end up learning them, and I'll make extras. All right, so there's two different versions of the item router, and I'm not sure what the difference is other than appearance. And it looks like if you stick that here, you get that. If you stick that here, you get the original one back. There's inventory cable. I'm actually not sure what these do. Maybe it's just so you can link between machines if there's a gap. Yeah, the way these routers work, from what I remember, like if you stick them next to some machines, since all of these tile entities are touching each other, like that router down here can talk to this painting machine, and you can specify which slot you want something to go into or which slot you want to pull something out of. It's a very, very powerful item. What's the interface for this thing look like? So we got some buttons, we got redstone. Okay, we got the input-output slots. I assume if we put in upgrades here, we'll be able to get some more options. So maybe we should make ourselves an upgrade. I got a book, by the way. Router Reborn manual. What does this thing do? This looks like a copy of the Tinker's Construct book, which is fine. That's cool. All right, yeah, that's just telling us crafting recipes and everything that any eye can tell us. So we'll put this away for now. I might read up on that later if I can't figure something out. So anyway, we want to get like a machine filter upgrade. So we need a redstone torch. Let's make one of those actually. Let's make a few of those. All right. So we got a machine filter upgrade. This does have exchange. I was looking at these and it seemed like all of them do except for this last one for some reason. I'm not sure why this one doesn't have exchange energy since it's all like vanilla items that goes into it. Yeah, I don't know. It seems a little weird that it doesn't. Maybe that's a bug in equivalent exchange or something. So we want bandwidth upgrade most likely. That requires a diamond. Are we out of diamonds? We're out of diamonds. Yeah, so, okay, this brings us to another thing. I've been over at our blaze farm, and I went underneath, and I took all the blaze rods out. So we're up to 2,200 now. That thing was down to about 1,000 before. Yeah, I took them over here, and I was changing them up for diamonds. And I was like, you know, diamonds hold a decent amount of exchange energy, 8,000, but that's not a whole lot. There's other items in equivalent exchange that have way more exchange energy. So, for instance, the alchemical coal, that's 2,000. The Mobius fuel is 16,000. That's twice. That's like 2 diamonds in one. And then there's the Aethernalis fuel. I think that's how you say it, or Aethernalis fuel. Anyway, this holds 131,000 per, which is pretty awesome. But then there's a block of this, which holds 1.1 million, almost 1.2 million. Yeah, so off camera, I was actually learning how to do all of this stuff. If you look at the recipes for this, like this one, it shows that if you put it in the aludel piece of coal with the verdant dust, you get this. This recipe is actually wrong. There is no verdant dust, and there's actually a couple of different ones in here as well. It's got like the azure dust, and I think this one's got a different one. Maybe, no, this is just more. Anyway, the way you make these things is exactly the way it shows in NEI, except you use the Mobius, the minium dust. Yeah, the minium dust you put here, and based on the different fuel, it uses more than that. So I think it uses 7 for this one, and then I can't remember. Anyway, the recipe is the same. It's just use the Mobius. I keep saying Mobius. The minium dust for this slot. Yeah, and this one right here uses quite a few of those, so it gets expensive. But I think it was guaranteed when I did this. But anyway, you can learn this. Then you take the blaze rods, convert them to energy, and then you can learn the block. So I did that. So all of our blaze rods are right here. We have 18.8 million exchange energy in those 16 blocks, and then we have a little bit more left over here. So anyway, we were lacking diamonds. We can make a stack of diamonds just like that. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I converted all the blaze rods we have pretty much to exchange energy. All right, so we got that one done. Let's go back to Router Reborn. Item filter upgrade. We're probably going to want this guy. Let's make one of those. We want the thorough upgrade. I think that just makes sure, like round robin style, it hits every single machine in order. I can't remember. So anyway, I think that's all the different upgrades. We have the speed upgrade, but we need a cake for that, and we can't make a cake right now. Well, we probably could if I went off and did it, but these are the easiest ones to get. Anyway, let me go ahead and learn these. I'll make a few of these upgrades. I'll start experimenting with it, and we'll be right back to check out how these routers actually work. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and play around with these routers a little bit, and let's see how they work. So I just have an inscriber set here, no big deal. We'll go ahead and put the logic press in here. So this one would be set up, you know, ideally it would be set up specifically for the logic ones for these gold processors. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some routers set up here. So we're going to need one router to insert items into this. We're going to need one router to extract the completed item out of it. And then we'll have a chest here, which, you know, eventually could just be an ME interface or something. Like this router would eject it into the interface and that would go directly into our AE system, right? So anyway, this is the router we care about right now. We want to say, hey, I want to grab an item. I want an item that's inserted into me to be put over here. So if we were to grab something like a hopper, for instance, we could put a hopper on top and we'd feed items into that. So let's feed in, I don't know, 6 gold ingots, right? So that seems pretty good. Right now it is kind of not doing what we want it to do. So what we want to do is give it a machine filter upgrade. Right now it's searching all the machines that are connected and putting items into the first one that will accept items, which I think was this other router, and that router was doing the same thing. Eventually they all ended up over here. Yeah, we want this thing down to the machine filter upgrade. So you shift right click that filter on there and then you get this other tab. So now we have a whole bunch of different things here. So we can see the hopper, the inscriber, the item router, and a chest. We will care about the inscriber. Yeah, we can put things back into the hopper should we choose to, but the inscriber is the machine we want to look at. So now that we have access to our inscriber, we need to figure out which side this spot right here is. I think I was looking at this. I think the west goes in there. Let's try putting in a gold ingot in there. Yeah, okay, so the west goes right here, and now we have an item on this side, right? So what we need to do is now get our other router over here. Let's do another machine upgrade, machine filter upgrade, shift right click. Okay, and now we can tell this one to look at the inscriber as well. And we want to tell this thing to extract, I think from the bottom. We have to click this button to be in extract mode. Maybe it's a south side. There you go. We got the printed logic circuit here now. So another thing, we have the item in there, but it's not doing anything. It's just kind of chilling. That's not really going to be useful. So we have to put one more upgrade. We want the auto eject upgrade in here. So shift right click that on there, and then we get this one, and then we can tell it which side to auto eject to. There's color codes on these routers, so you can see there's yellow and blue and orange. So anyway, we care about the yellow side. So if we click on here and we say go to the east, that item should be ejected over here into the chest now. So everything should be set up. If we put gold ingots in there, they're just going to feed into here, and this router is going to be dropping them right into the inscriber. And then as they get processed, this router is picking them up and sticking them over here. Seems simple enough. So something like this we could set up as well to have like, the processor, the silicon, and the redstone be put all into the inscriber in the correct spots. Yep, and then we can have another one pulling out the items from here. So this is a decent way of doing it. Is it the best way? I don't know. I know you can also set up auto inscriber stuff with Applied Energistics 2 only. This way I think is pretty cool. I really like these routers. These are really useful. Like I said before, we use these in FTB Ultimate. The way I had it set up there is I had a whole wall of centrifuges. We were doing a lot of B stuff there. So imagine these torches were all centrifuges. We had one router trying to put in honeycombs into every single one of these, and we had another router that was looking at all these and taking all the items from the output slot and just putting them into our Applied Energistics system. So it's just like a huge array of stuff with just two routers doing the input and the output. It was really, really awesome. These are very, very powerful depending on the amount of machines you have and what your application is. So another way we could do this, or another use for these routers, would be if you have a huge array of furnaces and you want to melt a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, one router to put all the stuff in the top slot, one router to put all the coal in, and one router to take all the items out that are completely smelted. So yeah, these things are very, very powerful. Alright guys, so I was just setting up another router system here to work with another inscriber. I don't have the speed upgrades in here, but we can take those out of this one for right now. I'll have to make up a whole bunch more of these things. Yeah, let's take those in here. So the way this is set up, this router right here is putting in the silicon into this bottom slot. So we have the machine filter upgrade set to the inscriber, and then we have the redstone, or I'm sorry, yeah, we have it selected to the bottom side. So that is putting the silicon to the bottom side of this, what puts it in this bottom slot here. So that's pretty awesome. I am putting the silicon into this router just from a hopper below or on the back of it. So yeah, that's just feeding this in. So as we take a piece of silicon out of there, it automatically just gets refilled. So that is pretty awesome. Okay, so this one right here, same kind of a deal. We're putting redstone in. This is going to the east side, and machine filter on the inscriber. So yeah, the east side of this machine, which I think is this side right here of the inscriber. Yeah, so we take redstone out and that just gets refilled exactly the same way. I'm using hoppers right now. Eventually we will have something for auto crafting, and it'll split these things up the appropriate way. I think there's also item filter upgrades, so it can, pull items in from a chest and only the specific ones. I'll have to figure this all out. Like I said, it's been a while since I've used these routers, so I'm kind of relearning how they all work. This particular router right here, we're feeding in from the hopper behind, but we don't have anything going into it. That would be what the actual processor is made out of. So if we're going to do gold or the logic ones, we could just grab some of these from here and stick them into this hopper back there. And then finally, this last one over here, we have the auto eject upgrade, ejecting to the east into this chest right here. Machine filter on the inscriber like we do. And yeah, it is pulling from the east. All right, so if I put in these logic processors right here, those automatically get fed over into the inscriber, and everything is happy. It's making the circuits, the completed ones getting pulled out and stuck over here into this chest. Pretty cool. I like it. And it makes kind of a small footprint. Now, another thing that's kind of cool about these, like I said, if you have multiple of these inscribers, you can have one of these routers talking to a bunch of them. So you can set up a whole array of these routers, a whole array of these inscribers that one router is trying to push all of its items into. So yeah, you can make processors super, super, super fast. On this machine filter, there's this option right here, visit all or visit near. So if it's visit all, I think that does talk to every single one of these inscribers or whatever the machine is that is connected to it. And I did look in the item cable, I think is what that called, is in fact something that could connect this bank of machines to this one over here as well. So yeah, these things are very, very powerful, especially if you're trying to make things in mass. So that's something we'll definitely be looking at in the future. But I did want to test these things out again and just kind of see what they are all about. But you know, guys, I think we're going to go and wrap the episode up here for today. I'm kind of running out of time. It's the holiday season, you know, Independence Day and all that. That's the day I'm recording this, actually. It's July 4th. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be working on making our applied energistics room a little bit better and actually building a building there. We got stuff laid out, but yeah, we definitely needed processors in order for us to make any progress. But yeah, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.